members of the commission who are here this evening. To my right is Commissioner Henry. To my far left, Commissioner Pickus, and to my immediate left, Commissioner Kerr. From city staff, we have Kathy Zerniak, and our city attorney, Mr. Pickrell, is here as well. And so our first item of matter to announce is that number 2 on our agenda, the commission at 6:10 did go into executive session pertaining to item number 6 on our agenda for the purpose of discussing threatened litigation. We adjourned into executive session at 6:10. That executive session adjourned at 6:31. No action was taken. It was for purposes of being briefed by the city attorney relative to any potential future litigation on item number 6. So, I would also next consider approving of the minutes of our January 10th, 2018 Plan Commission meeting that were sent to us in advance. Are there any suggested revisions or additions, deletions from those minutes? Kathy, I have one at the bottom of page 5, the second paragraph from the bottom. In that paragraph, the word commissioner, I think it should be either commission or commissioners, plural. You pick it. Okay? Very good. Okay. All those, is there a motion to approve? Yes.
So approved. So moved.
It's been moved, moved and seconded for approval of the minutes with the suggested revision. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The minutes from January 10th are approved. Okay. Our first substantive item on the agenda is a public hearing and action of a request for tentative and final approval of a plat of condominium for previously approved development at 723, 727 McKinley Road. Representing the petitioner here this evening, Peter Whitmer, architect. Welcome.
Thank you. This is our, as I say, the final plat of condominium approval for our phase 1 of this project. So we really haven't modified it from the earlier stages. Future phases of this project then will come forward in front of the Planning Commission of phase 2 and phase 3 on it. The site plan really hasn't changed, and really it's just a definition of the actual building and then the individual units and their common elements that are related to the units, and then the common elements that are part of the whole development. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them this time. Thank you.
Are there any questions of the petitioner? I have none. Seeing none, Kathy?
This is a procedural matter. This development has already been approved. What you're being asked to do tonight, as was noted by Mr. Whitmer, is to approve a plat which will actually allow the condominium units to be sold. It identifies not only the individual units, but also common areas and limited common areas. For instance, you have a plat of the garage level. The garage itself is common area, but specific parking spaces are limited common elements that are associated with particular units. So this is a requirement before the units can be sold. I believe that there are some sales pending. So now that the building is up, this plat can be produced, and it'll be appropriate for you this evening to recommend tentative and final approval of the plat of condominium to the City Council.
Okay. Any questions of Kathy? Seeing none. Do we have anybody here that wishes to testify in the public hearing on this matter? Okay, seeing none.
I would note for the record, you do have an email that was received today from the Donovans, neighboring property owners. It does speak to really questions about the larger development, and this project will be brought forward as the later phases are prepared for, are ready for your review.
Okay. Okay, we have before us the recommendation of staff. To recommend approval with a couple of things that have to occur before it can be finally approved from an administrative standpoint. A motion to consider the staff recommendation is in order at this time.
So then I would move that we approve the plat of condominium for this property at 223 and 227 McKinley Road, subject to, number one, the plat subject to the final review and approval of the Director of Community Development, the city engineer, the city attorney, and that all applicable fees are paid in full prior to the recording of the final plat.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. One ministerial thing. I would need to ask, do members of the commission have any ex parte contacts or conflicts of interest on this matter? No. Seeing none? Okay, then the motion is in order. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Whitman.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next item before us is item number 6, public hearing and action on continued consideration of a request for approval of an amendment to the special use permit which would authorize the Oak Knoll Woodland subdivision. This amendment is offered regarding the height of the berm on the southeast corner of the property. This matter has been continued 3 times, so we're here for the 4th, or it's up for consideration again. At this point, I would call on the petitioner's representative, Richard Swanson. And let me ask this, do members of the commission have any ex parte contacts or conflicts of interest on this matter?
No.
Seeing none? Please proceed, Mr. Swanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kathy, it's asking for a guest, yes.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to swear them in? Swear them in? Swear them in?
Yes, I will, thank you. Sorry.
While we're waiting, I'd like to swear everyone in who intends to speak on this matter, including the petitioner. Would please rise, those of you who wish to speak. Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Yes, I do. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Plan Commission, thank you. My name is Rick Swanson, for the record. I'm here on behalf of my fellow partners for the Oak Knoll Woodland subdivision regarding the berm matter. We just received 2 days ago the information that we asked to receive well in advance of this meeting, and we've had a little time to review it, but I want to ask you, Mr. Chairman, if you had time to review this information, as the board had a chance to review this. My point is that if you feel it's necessary, or you feel it's relevant for me to go forward with my presentation, I'm more than happy to do so. But I want this to be productive, and I want to work in the best interest of the process. And just only receiving this information 2 days ago doesn't really serve the process as we had hoped. We've already given a continuance twice, and now this most recent continuance is 2 months, so it's been 4 total. And that's more than sufficient time to provide any kind of evidence, and we had only asked in return that we would get that information well in advance. And of course, neither I or the city got this information until only 2 days ago. In fact, I understand it was actually hand-delivered to many of the Plan Commission members, which is unusual in itself. So I'm prepared to do my entire presentation. We feel we have a very strong position on what we're asking this board to do. But I guess in the interest of the process, and because we have a limited amount of people, we're forced to have a 100% vote of this panel in order to have this pass muster. And it may not be in the best interest of that process. So I'm asking you and the Plan Commission, if you feel it's appropriate for me to move forward, I'm more than happy and I'm more than prepared to do so. But I want to do it in the best interest of the process.
Well, speaking for myself as chairman, I would prefer that we hear from you, we hear from the Gavin Court neighbors
Yes, sir.
and their representative, and to come to some conclusions if we can. And I would like to try that despite, even though there are only 4 members here.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Because one of the members is not here because of medical reasons, and I cannot assure that he will, when he will be able to come back
Return.
to the commission meetings. So I don't know what the other members feel.
Well, I'd like to ask a question. Do you feel like you have had enough time to review this information and the process is going to work? I would not want you to go through your presentation, go through this entire meeting, and then a decision may or may not be rendered, and then you say, I really didn't have enough time to review this information. I feel like I've been wronged here. We don't want that to happen either.
I respect that and I appreciate that. I think the simple answer is that we want to do our presentation. We want to continue, and we clearly want to get this dialogue going, if nothing else. I guess we would like to reserve the right to ask respectfully for a continuance if it's deemed appropriate.
I think you should make that call now.
I do too.
I mean, if you want a continuance, you should ask for it now, and let's not waste a lot of time here.
I think we want to ask for a continuance. If we had the information earlier, we would be prepared, and I think it would be a fairer process. When you dump 3,700 pages of useless information, it's obviously, clearly there's an agenda. So we want to have time to react to that. We would rather continue this 1 more month and be prepared. We have been prepared for several months. To me, this is becoming almost ridiculous, and I'm almost embarrassed for the process itself. But I also know that that's not the cause of anybody on the behalf of the cities. I just want this to be a fair process, that's all. And I don't think it's been fair. So yes, I am asking for a continuance.
We need to be fair on both sides.
Can I ask a question? Do you feel, what is the basis? Is it just the timing, Mr. Swanson, or is it content as well?
Honestly, Mr. Chairman, my concern is that we know that the information that was provided is, with all due respect, useless chatter. We can absolutely defend it, and they actually did us more favors than anything else. My biggest concern, and I mean this with all due respect to all the members of this panel, I'm concerned that you may not have had enough time, and that you might draw a conclusion based on the drama of delivering 3,700 pages of wasted paper and ink. So that's not to suggest that anybody on this panel isn't capable of reviewing it, but in fairness to you, we've got professionals. We've got a doctor a professor here who's professionally trained to understand acoustical engineering and vibration, we've got an advantage in that we can have our people review it. I can't sit here today and tell you that the city's representative has had that time to do that, and that would allow this board the ability to make a sound decision. You've only had the information for 2 days. I'm more concerned about you than I am about us.
Speaking for myself, we asked for those who wished to have it continued last time for information. They provided us what they provided us. And I don't know whether it's going to be sufficient for other members of the commission or insufficient. But it seems to me, speaking for myself only,
Yes, sir.
that what was provided ought to be the basis upon which we review it. Take your experts and the representatives from the other side, and then the commission should weigh it. So,
Chairman Lay, if, it is not unreasonable, we did just receive the information. If you choose to continue, we would suggest that you continue to a date certain, number one. The April Plan Commission is Wednesday, April 11th, so that it be continued to a date certain, and that you direct that any and all information to be considered be submitted by Friday, March 23rd, so that we are assured that we're not receiving information 2 days before the meeting. So that's just something for you to consider, so that we don't continue to have a situation where we're receiving information without adequate time for all parties to review it.
I have a question. Has Dr. Thunder, who's providing some guidance to the city, has he had the opportunity to review all the matters, and is he willing to express an opinion tonight?
I was able to provide Dr. Thunder with a copy of the report late Tuesday afternoon. City staff received it, was able to open it on Tuesday, and I believe he has reviewed it and is prepared to comment on it. But I don't know whether the petitioner's consultants have had that same opportunity.
Might I just suggest that a continuance has been requested? That's what we're talking about. Do you want to grant it or not? I think Lou's spoken. I think we should decide among the four of us what, the reasons, everybody can have their reasons. The petitioner's reasons, it doesn't matter. He asked for a continuance. Do you want to grant it or not?
My concern is that we will come to the April meeting and be in the same situation we're in tonight.
Not if you set a date by which material needs to be submitted. If I understand the concern correctly, it's the concern that material was just made available this week. That's why we're suggesting, if you choose to continue it, that you establish a date, perhaps Friday of next week, to allow all parties adequate the same amount of time to review everything that's on the table at that time.
No, absolutely.
for what purpose?
Just on the motion that's pending or the request.
There's no motion pending.
No.
It's a procedural motion.
I would just like to say, the question's been asked, we've been directed by, what the four of us need to decide now is, do you want to grant the continuance with the specifications of the date or not? I'm inclined that we're in a lose-lose situation, and we've been asked to do it, to all present the ideas of fairness and full consideration. I can read. I've read everything that's been presented to me. I really appreciate Mr. Swanson's concern for my ability to process the information that's been given to me. The question's been asked. I feel that our hands are tied, that we need to grant the continuance with the date specified that Kathy had. The reasons why don't matter. It's been asked. I say we grant it and move on. Don't need to spend any more time today.
Well, I would agree if the petitioner's requesting a continuance and he's been patient thus far, we should certainly grant it.
I'm stating the obvious, but this would be the only time I've asked for a continuance. We've been prepared for several months now to do this, and we've basically, I think it's obvious that we've been fair in terms of allowing the neighbors the opportunity to gather information they should have gathered a year ago, and we're just now getting it. I'm asking respectfully, and Mr. Henry, I appreciate, as you know, I have nothing but respect for, we're all intelligent people, but we're being accused of something that requires real professionals to be able to analyze and be able to respond to. So, again, I'm asking with all due respect if we can continue it to the April, and we're fine with it. We'll be prepared. We're not going to come to another meeting and ask for another continuance. We want to get this done.
Do you want a motion?
I think it's appropriate. I move that we continue this matter to the April 11th Plan Commission meeting and stipulate that any and all additional information be provided to the commission be submitted to city staff no later than next Friday. Excuse me?
4:30,
4:30 p.m.
March 20th.
March 21st. 23rd.
Second it.
I have a question for the city attorney before we take a vote on the motion. We've been asked for the objector's representative to speak. May we do that after we vote on this?
Yes, Chairman Lay, you have discretion to conduct this meeting as you see fit, consistent with decorum, and if we have a motion pending, we should vote on that motion, and then if subsequent to that, the objector's attorney wants to speak, it is up to you to whether or not you'll let him do
Okay.
so.
I may just caution you against that. If we're going to have other commissioners that are going to be here, that we should do it when everybody's here who's going to make a decision on it. I feel like we've wasted enough time today already on this matter. In case anybody doesn't understand where I am on this, we've wasted enough time on it. Let's continue it and get on with the matter of the day.
Well, and I appreciate your comments, Tim, but I'm going to vote no on this for the same reason that I voted no at the last time. And I respect the petitioner, and it's not out of any,
I understand.
should not be viewed as prejudicial on my comment, but I will respectfully vote no on the continuance.
So we had a motion and a second, and I think we
Yes.
should vote.
Yes.
On a vote to continue the
Yeah,
meeting?
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. No. The motion carries 3-1.
Thank you.
Do you wish to comment?
I'll be very brief, I will 60 seconds. Shoot.
Please come to the mic and identify yourself.
Yes. I just want to state it's correct that objectors turned over probably over 3,000 pages of electronic data that was gathered, because so much data was gathered, over 100 hours versus 2 hours by the petitioner's consultants. And we just wanted to make that available for whatever anyone wanted to look at. We did not intend that to be like part of our presentation. Here, look at this 3,600 pages. What we wanted to present is distilled down into, I think, a 2-page report and about 10 charts. So we certainly were not trying to give somebody something to put someone on a chase to look through 3,000 pages of documents. It's there if someone wanted to look at the underlying data, and only for that purpose. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you come back, next meeting, I would ask that you and the neighbors be prepared to comment on whether the petition should be granted, the petition should be denied, or the petition should be approved with further conditions.
The petition for the berm height.
I
Yes.
want to know what the position is of the objectors in terms of the recommendation to what they wish this commission to determine the issue.
We'll be prepared, we were prepared tonight, and we will be prepared, still prepared at the next hearing for that. I had asked Ms. Cerniak, and she did, I believe, submit certain copies of certain city code provisions and other things that I had planned to use by way of supporting exactly what you're asking, Mr. Chairman, that we say up, down, or go around, you know, and so.
Well, the information you provided to us tonight comes nowhere near that, in my opinion.
In terms of I did not submit a statement of position. I'll be happy to do that. A written statement.
Yes.
That might save time, actually, at the next hearing. I'll try to get that done.
Not only
within
would
the-
ask for it, I would insist upon it.
You're going to get it. I'll prepare something and then submit it.
It would be in your client's interest for you and the clients to provide that to us. Okay?
We'll do that.
Am I clear?
Yes, you're very clear. Thank you.
Okay, the matter has been continued. Other items, number 7, opportunity for the public to address the commission on matters not on the agenda. Seeing none, additional information from staff. Nothing further. Okay, so our next meeting that this matter will be continued to is,
Wednesday, April 11th is your next regularly scheduled meeting, and we will poll the commission within the next week to verify attendance.
okay. Okay, motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.